This is Daily Armenia, Civilnet's daily news digest. Here's what's making headlines in Armenia today. A phone call yesterday between Armenia's top diplomat Ararat Mirzoyan and his Russian counterpart Sergei Lavrov, the second in 3 days, is seen by observers as the latest move by Yerevan to improve its tattered ties with Moscow. The Russian Foreign Ministry stated that their discussions covered bilateral, regional, and global matters, including upcoming diplomatic engagements. Lavrov also commended the recent progress in Armenian-Azerbaijani normalization talks. Meanwhile, Armenia's foreign ministry emphasized the importance of political dialogue at various levels and noted last week's diplomatic consultations between Russia and Armenia in Moscow, the first in 4 years. This follows their in-person meeting in January, which was the first since November 2023. Armenia had significantly curtailed diplomatic contact with Russia over the past couple years, as part of what has been called Armenia's pivot to the West. Its most notable step in this process was suspending membership in the Russian-led CSTO Defense Alliance, after it failed to intervene when Azerbaijan seized Armenian territory in 2022. However, recent developments suggest a potential policy shift. On March 14th, Pashinyan informed Russian President Vladimir Putin of his intention to attend Moscow's May 9th military parade commemorating the Soviet victory in World War II, which he had skipped last year. Some Armenian media outlets have reported that Pashinyan directed government institutions to rekindle diplomatic ties with Russia. Speaking to the press today, Parliament Speaker Alen Simonian denied this claim, but said about Russian-Armenian relations, "We cannot continue to talk about tension and maintain tension. Tension is not a tactic." The Kremlin responded positively to Mirzoyan's calls, with spokesman Dmitry Peskov stating that Russia welcomes Armenia's renewed interest in strengthening bilateral relations. A future test may be whether the Armenian parliament passes into law a pending bill on beginning a process to join the European Union, a move Russia strongly opposes. The bill passed in committee yesterday, but the date of a full vote has yet to be scheduled. On his first trip to Armenia as Iran's foreign minister, Abbas Araghchi expressed optimism in Yerevan today that the remaining issues between Armenia and Azerbaijan regarding a normalization treaty will soon be resolved, and reiterated Iran's support for it. "We hope that a final decision on the peace agreement will be reached soon. This agreement is crucial for peace and stability in the Caucasus, as well as for the development of economic relations," Araghchi stated. Meanwhile, his counterpart Mirzoyan said that while Armenia is ready to start consultations to determine a time and place to sign the historic treaty, there is no willingness from Azerbaijan. When asked how Iran would respond if Azerbaijan launched military action against Armenia, Araghchi emphasized that all disputes should be settled through dialogue and diplomacy, saying, "We oppose any military actions aimed at resolving regional disagreements." He also reaffirmed Tehran's stance that it supports the opening of transit routes in the region as long as they respect national sovereignty and territorial integrity. Childhood obesity is on the rise in Armenia, with 1 in 4 Armenian children overweight, according to a report from the Ampop Media data reporting platform. A 2019 study by the Arapkir Medical Center found that 27.7% of Armenian children aged 7 to 8 are overweight, with 12.5% classified as obese. Boys are slightly more affected at 30% compared to 25% of girls, while only 10% of parents acknowledge their child's obesity. Ampop details negative effects from the popularity of sugary carbonated drinks and energy beverages, along with children becoming dependent on processed fatty foods, which is compounded by increased screen time that limits movement and exercise. Parental neglect can result in missed meals and poor dietary habits. The Armenian Ministry of Health is working to address the issue by revising school food standards and proposing regulations on the advertisement of unhealthy products to children. Awareness campaigns and health initiatives in schools aim to instill better eating habits. Experts emphasize the need for systemic changes, including healthier school cafeterias and annual medical checkups to monitor children's weight and nutrition. Have you seen the latest episode of Insights yet? In it, Eric Hakopian examines why he believes Azerbaijan will never sign a peace agreement with Armenia. He also covers the importance of U.S. National Security Advisor Mike Waltz's unprecedented call for Azerbaijan to release the Armenian hostages, and highlights some economic success stories out of Armenia. You can find a link to the broadcast in this video's description. And finally, the CivilNet number of the day is 4,159. That's the official population of Mehri, Armenia's southernmost town strategically located by the Iranian border, according to the 2022 national census. While in Soviet times it was just a few hours car or train ride from Yerevan, Azerbaijan's blockade has more than doubled the travel time, requiring taking winding roads up and down the mountains of Sunik. Mehri's subtropical climate makes it the perfect place to grow persimmons, pomegranates, and figs. Wedged between the two parts of Azerbaijan, Baku has been eyeing a takeover of a corridor in the area so that it may connect itself without being subject to Armenian customs and laws. In response, foreign diplomats make the long journey to visit Mehri in an implicit show of support for Armenia's territorial integrity. Yesterday, French Ambassador Olivier de Cotigny visited Mehri in recognition of it recently becoming sister cities with the French town of Bron a few months ago. And as always, please follow CivilNet for the latest news and independent reporting from our contributors on the ground here in Armenia.